let's go to Kira Davis, who is joining us right now live on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Kira, thanks so much for joining us on the network.
Hi, it's so good to be back.
It is great to have you join us again. Last time you were on, man, we just could have talked for 4 hours straight. Let's be honest about that.
Well, there's so much to talk about.
I know. You know what? And sometimes when we do interviews, and as you know, there's some people out there, if you're doing a one-on-one interview, say in local news, you know the people that you just press the button, they just start talking. You don't even have to ask questions. You're like one
Yeah,
of those people. Like right now, I can
yeah,
press the button and I can stop talking. And go ahead,
yeah.
Kira. Go ahead. Take it away.
You like it. You like it. My family doesn't like it. It's only good for the news. It's only good for media. But believe me, I get a lot of complaints about how that button doesn't have an off button.
Awesome. I love it. Let's start with this. Let's go with that 30,000 foot view. What's your assessment on the 24/7 news cycle? You can go any direction you'd like, and then I've got some more specific questions for you.
Okay, well, I'm here in California, and as you know, we are dealing with this gerrymandering battle with Texas. And I live in Orange County, actually. We're the last red wall in California, and the gerrymandering map that the Democrats have approved will slice it. It will completely obliterate it. So that is top of mind for, of course, everyone here in California, but I think across the nation. Obviously, this is a national issue. Now, we have talked forever about how as California goes, so goes the rest of the nation. It's been kind of a cliche, but also, it's a sort of a joke. People always say that as a joke, but I need everyone to understand this is the reality. This is what you're witnessing. As California goes, so goes the rest of the nation. That's why it matters to you out there in the rest of America and real America. That's why it matters what happens here. I get this a lot. I get it so much. Kira, why don't you just leave? It's terrible. And believe me, people are leaving. Even in my meeting last night, my Republican committee meeting last night, there were people who were going, I don't think I can survive even until November. I'm leaving now. So people are leaving, but people always ask me, why don't you leave? Why don't you get out of there? Listen, you better hope people like me stay here. I'm the last thing standing between you and this nonsense. Gavin Newsom is responding to something that's happening in another state. He's our governor, but he is not governing this state. Imagine if he's your president. That's what he's running for. So people like me are staying here. We're staying put for now. I'm going to be here for as long as I'm going to hold out as long as I can. I believe this state is worth fighting for, but I believe that because I believe this country is worth fighting for. That is what is on my mind right now. The November 4th ballot here in California is going to have the gerrymandering on it. So it's all hands on deck right now. We're at a crisis point.
Yeah, and that's what we see throughout. You know, there's parts of that state, of course, that are MAGA country, that are people that are like you, that are saying, you know what, I'm conservative, I'm on the right side of history. There's a lot of us, but unfortunately, you have places like Los Angeles. Now, there are some that live in LA that are on the right side of history, but you on X said the following. We don't have the graphic because I'm just going to read it to you, and I want to hear a little bit more of a deeper dive on it. So we know that the LA mayor, Karen Bass, recently said LAPD is investigating this incident as a hate crime. Anti-Jewish hate will not be tolerated in our schools nor in our city, which we agree with that. We will work to hold those responsible accountable. And your response was spot on. You said, maybe if you could pull yourself away from throwing your body in front of illegal alien criminals and actually did your job, this type of thing wouldn't be a thing here. You said, you're a disgrace, speaking about the mayor there, and everything you say is absolutely meaningless. Continue on, please. Please continue on.
I think I said it all right there, but really, she really is the pure definition of an empty suit, isn't she? There's just it's all fabric and no body under, no flesh underneath. It's just at this point, after the fires, at this point, everything she says sort of just floats out there and lands with a thud. She doesn't have the either the staff or the budget to do what Gavin Newsom is doing right now, which is he's buying up social media real estate to try to make a splash. I don't think it's working, to be honest. I think he's getting more flack for it than praise, but that's neither here nor there. The point is that nothing she says has any meaning or value. That statement is the perfect representation of that. She has sat on her butt for the last couple years, but particularly through COVID and through the summer of love, summer of BLM, and through all of this criminal activity in LA, she has sat on her butt and let these things fester. She doesn't arrest criminals. She doesn't. We have extensive hate crime legislation here in California, and LA County has added their own hate crime legislation, and LA City has added their own hate crime legislation. So it's hate crime on hate crime on hate crime legislation. It never gets used for hate crimes. It only gets used against people who might present as conservative or Republican or white, somebody who fits some kind of woke narrative. So she could have clamped down on this ages ago. UCLA has been exploding in anti-Semitic protests. All across this state, we have seen our universities explode with this. We have heard from Jewish students who are afraid to go to class, who are getting assaulted. We have had murders at synagogues in Los Angeles, and she has done nothing. So everything she says is absolutely meaningless. I have no idea what on earth possessed her even to post that in the first place, because it certainly can't be something that is amenable to her backers, right? Because she's backed by that communist, they're all anti-Semites, she's backed by that communist wing. So I don't exactly understand why she would post that. I thought it was a little weird, but yeah, it's absolutely meaningless. She can take a hike with all that garbage.
No, I hear you. Okay, so those of you joining us right now, this is Kira Davis, conservative commentator and journalist. Your work has been seen where? New York Post, Red State, all over the place, right? I mean, and we're talking about the Mayor Karen Bass there in Los Angeles. Kira lives in California. Let's move on to another X post that I saw, and minority Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries said on X, he goes, "The cost of living in America under reckless Republican policies is way too high." He said, "You deserve better." Your response on X, Democrats acting like they haven't had an exclusive stranglehold on American government and culture for the last 4 years up until 8 months ago, is just, and then you put, mwah, chef's kiss.
Yeah. Well, I love all of their responses, right? I mean, their whole strategy is, well, this isn't working. Trump said this isn't working. Oh, this isn't what the American people voted for. The cost of eggs are too high. That's what trips me out the most. When they want to cut, they're still talking about eggs. They are obsessed with the eggs. They're still talking about eggs, and they come with the cost of eggs hasn't gone down. It wasn't about the eggs, idiots. It wasn't about the eggs. The eggs were symbolic of what was going on in America, but this also is symbolic of the absolute, I don't even know how to put this, and I'm sorry because I'm a writer and I should know, I should be more verbose. It's retarded. I don't know how else to say it. It's absolute. It is a retardation of logic. They are literally protesting against safety and against returning to some kind of normality in this country. And so their main strategy is to make it seem like, oh, Trump's failing. You guys have been exclusively in charge for 4 years, not just in charge of the White House and Congress. You guys have had the entire legacy press in your back pocket. And until Elon Musk came to rescue us and bought X, you had all of social media in your pocket. You even had, excuse you people, you even had representatives from the CIA and the FBI sitting up in Twitter, posted up in Facebook offices to monitor American citizens. And now you want to tell us, oh, the cost of this living is too high. You had 4 years to do something and you did nothing. So now this is what's happening. The American people have decided they want something instead of nothing. And now the only response is to say, oh, well, this isn't very good. We could do better. But you didn't. So sit down and shut up. Hakeem Jeffries is mad because he didn't get that promised position. He was really on his way to become the first Black Speaker of the House, and everything that he posts is based on that disappointment. He was promised that position because they believed with their whole hearts that they could control the American people and depress the American spirit forever. So Hakeem Jeffries can take a hike with Karen Bass and all of those other liars. It's pathetic to me, but it's also funny, like how clueless they are. Y'all, it's only August, everybody. We literally just got here. You guys, we're still wiping away the stain of everything you did when you were in charge. So, and we're doing it, by the way, but unless you're going to come to us with some kind of real action items, with some kind of real solutions, we're not buying this anymore. Everyone's looking around and seeing that life is better. You've been talking about it on your show about DC is better. Even the Democrats have to admit DC is better. I got to tell you, here in California, traffic is better because ICE has been parked here for 2 months and they haven't left. And it is definitely making a dent even in how you drive daily. I mean, it's all empty. It's empty complaints. They're losing and they know it. And yeah.
I agree with you. No, I agree with you. And that's why I didn't cut you off there because, I hear you. And you're right. They should take a hike maybe to another country that likes communism, I mean, come on. Let's go to the next topic. We were talking way earlier in the broadcast. We started about 11 Eastern, and I know you're on the West Coast time, so thanks for being up with us here in the morning on the West Coast. I was talking about NFL versus college football, and I do prefer college football. I used to like the NFL more back in the day when I was maybe, 16, 17. I liked the 49ers. I had family that live out there in California, in Sacramento. I like Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, those guys.
We're Bears fan in the Davis household.
Oh, really?
We're from the Midwest, so we're Bears fans.
Why the Chicago Bears?
We're from the Midwest. My husband's a lifelong Bears fan. He's from the Chicagoland area. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, that would be cool to go to Soldier Field to check out a Bears game. But
oh yeah,
let's go to, instead of going college versus NFL, let's go to one of those posts that you were highlighting as the NFL is now taking a stand in the political arena once again, adding those slogans to the end zones this upcoming season. So all 32 teams are forced to. Some may be like, hey, that's fine, who cares? But here are the slogans, and I want to get your reaction on this. I'll read your reaction that you had on the X posts to let people know, and then I want to hear more from you. First one is end racism. I mean, that's actually a good, yeah, we don't want racism. Stop hate, choose love, inspire change. It takes all of us. Your response, you just said, I had to check the calendar to confirm it really is 2025. What did you mean by that?
I mean, this feels like a very 2020 thing to do. I didn't even realize the NFL was still on this kick. I thought we all got released from it last November, and I thought we all got to take a collective breath. I think what's happening is the NFL hasn't quite purged their HR teams yet. I believe that's coming. I believe this is still like some last holdovers. The whole thing is ridiculous. To put end racism in the end zone of a league that is 90% Black players who make far and above more than the average American could ever dream of making in a 6-month or year-long period. It feels a little ridiculous and also just sort of redundant. End racism. Okay, is this a really groundbreaking thing to say? I'm against racism. Wow, NFL, great for taking a stand. I'm so glad that you ended racism by painting these letters in the end zone. All I want to see is these guys battle each other, beat each other up, score points. And also, let's remember that I believe that this is a symptom of the feminization of America. That's a message for women. Men don't want to say men don't care about racism or love or hate or anything when they're watching football. I know, because I've been married to a man for 26 years. He's an avid football fan. He's not thinking about racism when he's watching football. he wants to see the competition, the athletics, the sports. This is a very male thing, and somehow this this feminine aura has sort of infused itself into our athletics, but particularly the NFL, and it needs to go. I honestly think there's just too many women in football. If you ask.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's interesting. It's that you go woke, you go broke. It's some more of that wokeness trying to still be a part of, a major league, And I remember back in the day, I always liked watching, and you'll appreciate this being from the Midwest and being a Bears fan. Who doesn't like watching the Game 6? Okay, this is really diving into some sports here, but Game 6, Chicago Bulls versus whether it's the Utah Jazz or back in the day, the Seattle Supersonics, and at the United Center, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, these guys. The announcer at the United Center, saying, and now for you. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. So
Yeah.
the point is, when you watch these games, whether you're watching hockey, football, I don't care what sport you're watching. Let's shift down to Oklahoma City. I remember watching a playoff game there, Oklahoma City Thunder. And to your point, in the NFL, there's a percentage of the players that are black or there's some white or whatever. The media doesn't want me to say the following thing on the left wing. At the Oklahoma City Thunder game, when the crowd went wild, when one of the players got a three-pointer, right? And yes, a majority of the team are black. The majority of the crowd was white. Where's the racism? What are you talking about, really, though? And that's the same crap they've been trying to throw at President Trump, that he's what are you talking about? And so, I mean, we see it. And I think the American people see what we're talking about, don't they?
I think I think really, if I could just use one word to sum up what you just said, it's trending on TikTok right now, is fatigue. Fatigue. Now, TikTok, there's a black fatigue thing going around. That's very interesting, actually, to watch. But it's sort of spreading. Everybody's sort of, I'm getting, teenager fatigue or cyclist fatigue. What I'm seeing is Americans are tired. We're tired of being lectured to. You know what? I was at an event once. I was talking to a woman in the business community, and a very well off, and she's very influential. And she was trying to get me to agree with her on something that I didn't agree with. And I was just politely sort of dodging and weaving. I didn't want to be rude. And she was an influential woman. And finally she said, what, Carrie, you really don't like being told what to do you? And I was like, does anybody? I was like, no, I don't like being told what to do. But more than that, Americans don't like being told what to do. It's literally our DNA. We fought an entire revolution and then another one with each other, with ourselves, because we don't like to be told what to do. And if there is anybody who really doesn't like to be told what to do, it's the American male, as embodied by our president. So no, they don't want to be lectured to watching a baseball game or a football game or anything, any kind of game. It's a game. We're tired of being told that everything that we love and everything that brings us joy is wrong. We're tired of being told that we're wrong for just looking at our neighbor as just our neighbor, with no other qualifiers, race or religion. We're tired of being told that that's wrong. We're tired of being told that we're wrong for laughing and enjoying life and enjoying the blessings of this country. We are fatigued. You are fatigued. That's what all this is. If I could just sort of just detour for a second, but not very far. You may have seen this week a lot of controversy over the two male cheerleaders who have been added to the Minnesota Vikings cheer squad. And that's been very controversial even among conservatives, because they're saying, look, there's male cheerleaders. My husband was actually a cheerleader in college. He became a cheerleader in college because girls, right? You get to lift the girls, you get to, you get to work with the girls, you get to hang with the girls. That's why he became a cheerleader. And a lot of people are saying you're being hypocritical or you're just being an overreacting conservative. But I watched these guys on the field. I know what a male cheerleader is, and there's a difference between a male cheerleader who is doing the male part of the cheer and a male cheerleader who is acting like a woman, who is doing the female part. And that's what I am seeing with those two male cheerleaders. They're great dancers, they're great performers. I might want to go see them on a Broadway stage or in a play. When I'm buying a $300 ticket or more to a football game, I don't think any red-blooded American man or woman wants to see a grown man shaking his tail feather around like a woman. It's not part of football. It has nothing to do with football. Go do that in the WNBA, maybe. Maybe that's where that belongs.
On top of that, I saw here in Auburn, I went to an Auburn Tigers game against Texas A&M, and Texas A&M and Auburn had the male cheerleaders too. And to your point, yeah, these guys are, a little bit more, buff and, throwing the girls up in the air and that kind of thing. And then so to your point, yeah, I saw the Minnesota Vikings ones, and they're dressed the same way as the girls are with the pom-poms and all that. And, I guess I'm glad I'm not in Minnesota because I wouldn't be going to a Vikings game. You know what I mean? I would go to a Minnesota Wild game for those of you that like hockey. But anyway, or Timberwolves, basketball. But yeah, that's a great point. And this is the kind of thing, man. It's just like, yeah, you still have some of these pro teams out there still pushing the woke stuff. And if they keep going, here's the problem, Kira. And those of you joining us right now, this is Kira Davis, conservative commentator and journalist, has written all over the place, Red State, New York Post, all that. The problem is if they keep pushing that envelope, if you go woke, you go broke. There's something called, and I'm going to sneeze the answer. This is very personal to me. It's funny because sometimes I say to my wife, all right, I'm going to sneeze the answer to you. Boycott. Oh, man. You know what I mean? Like if they boycott their, if they boycott them, and then everybody's like, well, we love college football. Bye-bye, NFL. Like, but the emotional attachment's too strong for, I think, that to happen. I mean, come on. You tell that to a Steelers fan or a Bears fan. It's not going to happen. And the NFL knows that they have that emotional attachment, so it's going to be very difficult for people to pull back. But anyway, your thoughts about that, and we can go to one more topic I want to bring up before we get ready to go to D.C.
Yeah, I don't know what the NFL does about it. I mean, at my age, you get to be my age as a woman, and you have a lot less patience. I've raised my kids. I'm an empty nester as of this week. You have a lot less tolerance. So if I was in charge of the NFL, I would just be like, no, we're not doing this anymore. So it's going to take a leader, somebody who's going to say, we're not doing this anymore. What they'll see, they might be doing okay now, but what they'll see is when they untether themselves from this rock that is DEI-CRT, when they untether themselves, they'll see an explosion, I think, in participation and customer satisfaction, all of that. But yeah, I think it's just going to take somebody with some cojones to say, no, this is why I'm always like, liberals are like, the world would be a better place if women ruled the world. No, it would not. I have no heart when it comes to shenanigans. I raised 2 kids. I've seen it all. You get a nuke, you get a nuke, you get a nuke. Like, it's good that men are in charge.
Oh, man. I was going to go to one more topic, but you brought up something about being an empty nester. I believe, what was your kid going to college for?
Yeah. I just dropped my baby off at college. Yep.
For the mama bears out there that are watching right now, what was that like, obviously, to have your kid go off to college, but also within the framework of, we know that a lot of, or some colleges, like that indoctrination thing. So you don't have to get into too many specifics, of course, but just what was that like from your personal standpoint?
Well, I've already sent one to college. I sent him to college in Chicago. And every year he came back to me a little bit more conservative. Because it just really was so insane. And we've raised our children not just to be thinkers, but to be members of the kingdom. We're Christians, and so we have a higher calling. We have a tribe that is higher than our ideological tribe. And so that helps to have that rooting. But I have spent their entire lives deprogramming, always discussing. We've always tried to be a family that can talk about ideas passionately, but leave room for questions. And when I've seen my kids maybe stray a little ideologically, I've always left room for questions. Let's talk about this. Tell me why you think this is a good thing and a bad thing. When I dropped my daughter off, though, one of the things, now this being my second go around, one of the things that and I'll say this to mom specifically, that I have come to believe wholeheartedly at this point in my life is that nothing is better for your children than to cover them in prayer. That is a real thing you can do. Pray for the protection of their mind. Some of you might not have the option to not let your kid go to college, because sometimes that decision doesn't just involve you. And so pray for your kids, check in with your children, and if they are expressing ideas to you that seem out there, or you're worried about the direction, because they are going to be influenced, don't take that for granted. They will be influenced. Leave room for questions. Don't panic. I really believe in the Proverbs that tells us that train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are older, they will not depart from it. You might have to go through a few years of transition. Hold the line, cover your kids in prayer, and trust that whom God has claimed as his own will not fall away. I truly believe that.
Amen. I mean, it's the Bible, and I'm taking some notes here. My wife and I have a 10-month-old daughter, so I'm taking notes.
Oh, okay,
here.
You got some time, but it does go fast.
I hear you. You might have to email me the whole list of all the things you learned there. But anyway, all right. So last thing. So MSNBC, they think they're cool. They go to now called MS Now. I think it's because I read an article. NBC Universal, I guess they're not going to be in ownership with MSNBC, so the NBC part has to say bye-bye. So now they're calling it MS Now. Did you see their graphic and what it looks? I mean, it looks. I mean, when I went to college, our graphics look better.
It's ridiculous. Is it MS Now or is it Miss Now? That's what I'm going to call it from now on. Miss Now?
Yeah.
Or MSN Ow. That's probably my right. It's MSN Ow. Whatever it is, it's ridiculous. But to me, it is a brand change. I think it's a little more than just separating from NBC. It's a brand change. You've seen the purchase going on in legacy media, even in late night television. I think a lot of this has to do with USAID. I think we were funding most of the media opposition. And so now they're having to balance the ledgers now that they're not getting our taxpayer, now that the enemy is not being funded by the taxpayer. So they need to rebrand. But I think part of this is also they're liars. Their brand is toast. Everything that they have said is wrong. Not only that, everything that they have said has been a lie. Their ratings are in the tank. Few people watch them except the true believers. And people like me who like to make fun of them. I turn them on every day, but only to make fun of them. And I think half of their audience is like, I think The View is only on the air because of hate watches. I don't think that Americans really like that show. So I just see this as the legacy press really trying to rebrand. Again, just to bring this full circle to where we started this conversation, we're seeing that in our governor here in California, Gavin Newsom. His press account has decided that their best strategy is to imitate Donald Trump. So they've been imitating the way he talks, they've been posting all caps, they've been insulting. It's really
and they're
sad.
they're not even good doing that. I mean, they're trying. What? Talk about being fake. They can't even mimic the president because you're not the president and hopefully won't ever be the president.
It's so dumb. They think that's what is so hilarious. They think they're winning. I'm almost, this is my opinion, but I feel very sure that they're buying likes. But on top of that, conservatives are making fun of them and they keep going, see, we're getting under their skin. No, it's ridiculous. We don't know what the joke is because it's stupid. The left can't meme. So, but Gavin Newsom, I mean, imagine thinking that the key to inspiring people is acting like somebody else. You can't out Trump. Elon found that out the hard way. Elon Musk, one of the most powerful men in the world, still couldn't beat the Trump wave. When they came head to head, guess who MAGA landed on? Trump. Because there's something about that guy. Newsom doesn't have it, but that is what is going on the left, period. They're trying to imitate what's winning. because they know how badly they're losing. So I just see this, we're going to see this across legacy media. They're all going to try to rebrand. Their podcasting segments are rebranding. The only people that haven't been smart enough to rebrand yet are the Democrats themselves. I don't know when they're going to get it, but I don't think it's anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think so either. They keep going further to the left. You
Yeah.
said something about stupid jokes. Speaking of stupid jokes, I'm going to name 3 people, and then I want to get your reaction on them. Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel. Go, Kira.
Not funny. Again, 3 people that I think are propped up by USAID or were, and now the chickens are coming home to roost. I will say this. Fallon is the only one that gets it. He had Gutfeld on last week, and I think that is because he wants to save his job. He sees the writing on the wall. He understands that they have driven away most of their audience, and without that dark money that's been coming in, again, this is my opinion, without that dark money, that dark funding that's been coming in to fund them, they now have to rely on a genuine audience. TV ratings are already going down because people are leaving television for just, reasons of modern technology. This is the way our culture is developing. So they're already in a hole. Keep trying more of the same. Fallon realized that he's going to need to change along with the culture if he wants to save his job. So he had Gutfeld on there. The audience was not real warm to Gutfeld, but they did okay. Now, I just want to say this. I think we are in the midst of a massive, massive culture shift. The people who can't get on board their careers are going to die. So the Colberts and the Kimmels of the world, they're going away. They're going to go the way of Chuck Todd. Right? I don't want to say nothing bad about Substack because I have a Substack and I love it. It's just kiradavis.substack.com. You can go to that and check out all my stuff. I love Substack, but I'm an independent journalist. I am not a journalist with the prestige of a 3-letter network behind me. But some of those people that lost so much trust that they're joining the independent people like me on Substack. And but I was watching Fox News the other day, and I saw some Democrat politicians on, and I was watching another conservative network and a different conservative podcast. So 3 different networks in total. They all had Democrat strategists on and Democrat spokespersons on. 1 year ago, you never would have seen those people on there because they would have said, I'm not showing up on this show. I'm not going to normalize you. Right. I saw on CNN the other night, Dana Bash do a segment at the end of her panel, and it was about John Thune. After they passed the big, beautiful bill, he did a little TikTok and he dove into the water and he was like, yay, we passed it. And I was prepared for this all-out assault, and it was actually a really fun, light segment, and they were just saying, oh, it's nice to see a senator having fun, and, you got to celebrate the wins, and it's summertime. And I thought, wow, we really are in the middle of a massive culture shift. A year ago, Dana Bash would never have allowed that moment to go without some kind of criticism or snarky thing to say. So well, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, they're toast. They can't adjust. I think Fallon might make it.
Yeah, we'll see. And it's a great point that you're making because the people are seeing, those that are, those hosts are seeing that the majority of the country are their audience, are their customers. Same thing with, if you go woke, you go broke. So it's the same thing in media.
Right.
Kira Davis, thanks again for joining us. Where can people follow you on X?
Oh, it's always a pleasure. You can follow me on X at Real Kira Davis. And that's really the best place to go. If you go to my bio, you'll see links to all of my other stuff. It's so great to be here, and God bless America.
Yep, and go Bears.
Go Bears, it's our year.
Take care.